So your task is simply to listen to this presentation, take notes as you are listening, and afterwards use your notes to help you complete the chart I sent you on Gmail. The age of exploration. So you're going to learn about the most important time possibly in the history of exploration. It was called the Age of Exploration. And it was when people in Europe began to explore the rest of the world. So here is a map of the world. I'll give you 5 seconds. Just point to where Europe is. Okay, you should have said here. So this is Europe there. And really important countries during the Age of Exploration were these two, Portugal and Spain. Also France, Holland, UK, they would become huge exploration nations. But Spain and Portugal, also Italy, but Spain and Portugal were the big superpowers of exploration at that time. So the Age of Exploration. The Age of Exploration was also known as the Age of Discovery, and it refers to a period in world history when several European nations, mainly Portugal and Spain, set out to explore the globe in hopes of finding new lands, learning about more direct trading routes, creating maps, and learning about new cultures and people. It occurred from the 15th to the 17th centuries, so that's 1400 to 1600. So this is before the Industrial Revolution by a few hundred years. And it is known as one of the most fruitful and successful periods in European history. That word fruitful, just going to highlight. What do you think that means? So fruit, I'm sure you know what fruit is. Fruitful. So just have a think about that tricky word. I know beautiful means full of beauty. Wonderful, full of wonder. So what fruitful? Full of fruit. What does that mean? And here you can see the world map. And many of the explorations are on there during this time. And some of the explorers are here. So I don't know if you can see that. So can you name any explorers from this age? So the previous slide had some, but they were very small. Don't know if you could see them, but can you name any? Columbus is a name you probably all know, but do you know any others? So there's Columbus. So who's that? Who's that? Some of you may know some of these. And who's that? So just have a think. Give you 5 seconds. Can you name any other explorers from this age? Okay, moving on. So what will we learn? We will learn why people didn't explore so much before this time, why people suddenly began to start exploring, and what technology helped explorers explore at this time. So this is a map of the world before the Age of Exploration. The above map is the map of what people thought the world looked like before the 1400s. So just have a look at this map and think about what you can see and what they didn't know then. Right, what you should have noticed is that there's actually very little sea. You may know that Earth is known as the blue planet because it is predominantly sea. It's about 70% seas and oceans. But if you look there, people thought the Earth was mainly land, so they didn't realize how big the oceans such as Atlantic, Indian and Pacific Oceans were. So, why did people not know what the world actually looked like? People had no idea what the world actually looked like because there was a fear of the unknown, so they were afraid to explore it. People believed that there were sea monsters in the seas. The further south you travelled, you would boil, and the world was flat, and that you would fall off the edge of the world if you went too far. So they're just three reasons why people were afraid to explore the seas. Another reason why people were not keen to hit the seas and explore is because of food. So at this time, if you went on a long sea journey, there was no way of keeping food fresh. And without fresh food, many sailors developed a disease like this. This is called scurvy, and it's caused by a lack of vitamin C. So just have a think of that. Why would they have a lack of vitamin C if they were out at the sea for many months? Where do we get vitamin C from? It's a connection to balanced living, learning. Why then did explorers explore? There were three main reasons why Europeans wanted to explore. 1. To trade. 2. For a religion. And 3. Empire building, or GGG. So this is a good way to remember the three reasons why Europeans started to explore. Trade could also mean gold, religion, God, and empire building, glory. So gold, God, and glory were the three factors that influenced Europeans to explore. So 1. Trade. Europeans had, up until this point in history, had trade links with India, China, and the Spice Islands. Spices and silks were very valuable commodities in medieval Europe, used in cooking, medicines, and dye for clothes. Getting these goods would take months and years, so you can remember Marco Polo went along what was called the Silk Road, and the Silk Road allowed trade between Europe and Asia. Then the trade routes became dangerous with the growth of the Turkish Empire. So the Turkish Empire, the rise of the Ottoman Turkish Empire, meant that Europe and Asia became disconnected. The Muslim Turks were enemies of the European Christians, so it was very, very dangerous for Europeans to travel to Asia, if not impossible. So Marco Polo wouldn't have been able to do what he did 200 years later. The European population also began to rise, and therefore there was a greater demand for these goods. Number 2, religion. So at this time, most Europeans were Christian. Europeans believed it was their duty to spread the message of the Christian God, to spread the message of Jesus. As a result, most of the ships that went on these journeys brought with them priests, and the aim was to convert where they conquered. So they would go to new places, and the people living there, they would convert them, which means change them to become Christians. And third reason, empire building. Many European countries wanted to build empires. They wanted to control new lands and exploit their natural resources. So they would go to new places, and maybe these new places had minerals, or maybe they had gold. So they would go and get these minerals and resources and bring them back to their country to grow their empire. Europeans thought that they were superior, better than the people of the countries they conquered. So you could say they weren't open-minded. Time to think. Can you think of 2 reasons why people were afraid to explore the world of the open ocean? Give 1 reason why rulers, kings and queens, were prepared to sponsor voyages during the Age of Exploration. So why would kings and queens of countries pay for explorers to explore? And give 2 reasons why spices were so important in the 15th and 16th centuries. So what helped them explore? We'll look at the technology of the Age of Exploration. One was a new ship called the caravel. And 2, new navigational technology. So new technology that helped them navigate, helped them find their way. So this is the Santa Maria. You may know who sailed on this, and it's a caravel. So caravel was a new ship, and it was better, it was stronger, and it was better able for the rough Atlantic Ocean. The ships were clinker built. That means they had overlapping timbers to withstand the strong Atlantic waves. The ships also had lateen sails, which made them easier to move, easier to navigate. So these were very modern and very advanced ships. So it's called the caravel. And new technology helped explorers explore. So there was the compass, the astrolabe, the quadrant, and Port-a-Land charts. So the compass allowed sailors to know which direction they were traveling in. The magnet will always point north if you are north of the equator. So the equator is the imaginary line that divides the Earth between north and south. It goes across the middle, the center of the Earth. The astrolabe. So the astrolabe measured the latitude by studying the sun during daylight hours. So this helped sailors and explorers work out where they were in the world. Latitude, I don't know if you've seen on a globe, are the lines that go, that's wonky, the lines that go from east to west across the planet, and the lines that go from north to south are called longitude. So this would measure the latitude, but not longitude. The quadrant did the same, but this worked at night, and this used the position of the stars. So you had the astrolabe in the day and the quadrant at night, and they could help you find your latitude, so where you were going from east to west on a map in the world. And Port-a-Land charts were maps of the sea. They recorded the shape of the coastline, winds, and the depth of water. Log liner knots were how sailors measured the speed of the ship. So these were very important. It's very important to have a map of the sea and know how deep and dangerous the sea was, how strong the winds were, where the coastlines were. So these charts also helped them explore. Time to think. So how did the technology below help explorers go on longer sea voyages than before? Port-a-Land charts, astrolabe, compass, and quadrant. Just have a think about how those 4 pieces of technology helped explorers. Right, your task is with your partner, complete the special chart I've shared with you. Remember to make a copy of it first. Share it with your partner or partners. Share it with me when it's all finished. And good luck. Goals for everyone who can finish all of it. Good luck. If you need to go back and watch this video again or watch part of it, make sure you do.